I've spent the last couple of weeks breaking down who I think could make different Overwatch World Cup squads. However, for this video, I want to focus in on the running for the national side that of course I'm paying the most attention to and will be rooting for at the end of this year, Team UK. As I mentioned in my last video on the 7 lines, the team will be holding tryouts that have showed off a great amount of talent and potential, both known and unknown, so the future looks bright. But last weekend they announced the final 18 players that made it to phase 2 of the tryouts, from which this year's roster will be assembled. So today, I want to talk about these 18 players individually to give some people some information, history and insight about them, as whether you can watch competitive Overwatch all the time or just occasionally as a passing interest. I think it's good for us to know and learn about those who might represent our great nation for 2019 or in future years at the Overwatch World Cup. Let's start with the 3 players at the hitscan DPS position, A10, KSP and LYNNNNNX. A10 burst onto the competitive scene towards the end of 2018 with HSL Academy, winning a couple of minor tournaments that earned him a promotion to the org's main roster for European Contenders Trials at the beginning of this year. He was known for his hitscan ability and prowess on heroes such as Widowmaker, McCree and more recently Ashe, but was able to continue to excel in the GOATS 3-3 meta thanks to a really strong Zarya. With another strong showing here, as well as consistent top 10 placings on the EU ranked ladder, A10 moved on to triumph in North America and again won 2 minor tournaments with them, and thanks to consistently strong performances, finally earned his opportunity at the Contenders level with second win, and now currently is a member of the Phase 2. While she showed continued excellence on Zarya over the last 6 months, the recent UK trials give him a great platform for him to demonstrate his hitscan abilities, with his Widowmaker being the clear highlight of his super tryout display, and we're happy to have him vying to represent the UK, given he could have preferred the Dutch side given his roots there. KSP is the only returning member at this position from the 2018 UK squad, and although his playtime was limited, he still was able to show off his brilliant Widowmaker and Tracer's skills. He earned this opportunity thanks to great displays in European Contenders and trials on Bazooka Puppies and Young and Beautiful, which led him to being picked up by Samsung Morningstars, where he excelled on Zarya from the end of 2018 through to the beginning of 2019. For the second 2019 season of North American Contenders, he was acquired by XL2 Academy and has helped him to a strong 3-1 start, with KSP impressing particularly on Tracer, as well as on Zarya, in particular in a series against Revival a few weeks back, that cemented him as one of the most talented hitscan players we have from the UK. Lastly there's LYNNNNNX, who comparatively is a little newer to the competitive scene. He again challenged consistently for top 10 spots on the European ranked ladder, and briefly challenged in Contenders Trials at the end of 2018 with Tea and Biscuits. Of course he is a really good Widow, Tracer, McCree and Ashe, but he's largely had to play Zarya, which has also shown his ability on. Shortly after A10 left Triumph, LYNNNNNX joined them and helped them to a ridiculous 16-0 performance in North American Open Division, dropping only 1 map in the entire playoffs. With this, the team earned an opportunity at the Contenders Trials, which they took with earnest, and they made a solid start to this season of North American Contenders with a 2-2 record, with LYNNNNNX making some really great plays on Ashe to show off his influence and ability at this position. At the flex DPS spot, the final 3 are KIB, ZEAL and ZERGGY. KIB is our first Overwatch League player that I'll be discussing, and only yesterday was confirmed to have been traded to the Philadelphia Fusion, where he is now reunited with compatriots BOOMBOX and Hayes. And speaking of reunited, that was the name of the team he first joined back in 2016 alongside KRUISE, as he started to make his name on the competitive scene. 2017 saw him develop further, with solid finish as a member of Laser Kittens in Contenders Season 0, but 2018 was where he really started to make his name as a flex DPS player, winning Overwatch Pit Season 2 with those guys, before winning the first season of European Contenders, having been picked up by British Hurricane. His greatest strength is his high skill and ability on a wide variety of heroes, such as Genji, Hanzo and Pharah, where his Roadhog is best in my opinion, and one of the best in the entire scene. This great depth and flexibility contributed towards him making the UK squad last year, where he had a fantastic World Cup with a superb display against South Korea and others. These displays were a key factor in his acquisition by the Guangzhou Charge, and although he hasn't seen the most playtime, his play primarily on Brig has been consistently good, and he could really flourish in Stage 4 alongside his new teammates from Philly. ZEAL in my eyes was one of the most impressive performers during the UK trials that was scrimmed, with really good showings on heroes like Pharah and Hanzo. In particular his Genji was excellent. He really started to break onto the competitive scene majorly towards the end of 2018 with Shu's Money Crew, winning Open Division and progressing through trials to reach European Contenders, where he'd been primarily stuck in Brig Jail. At the beginning of 2019 he joined the Eternal Academy, but didn't find the most success. However, with the meta allowing to show his prowess on a number of flex DPS heroes, I'm certain that if he regularly puts in similar performances that he showed at the trials, it won't be too long before he's picked up by another side. ZERGGY rounds out the 3 flex DPS picks and was another who performed very well during the UK trials. He might have the least competitive experience, with a short spell on We Have Org, helping them qualify through Contenders Trials Europe at the end of 2018, and recently won the Overwatch Insomnia 64 Cup with MNN Gaming. But he turned up big time during the trials, with some great displays on Pharah, and Mei in particular, which had left a really strong impression, which is clearly why he's made it to this phase of the UK selection. Moving on to the very talented main tank position, there's Fusions, JKARU and NUMLOCKED. Fusions is our next returning player from the 2018 World Cup, where he was probably the standout player and really came to embody the heart and soul of the team through his passion, leadership and vocal presence. His spot on the side had come about as a culmination of an incredibly successful 2018. He'd started the year winning the second season of the European Pit Championship, beside Kib, having just broken into those guys, and in the same way followed the same path to pro by earning a spot on the British Hurricane that were the first European Contenders champions. His Rhine performance was so strong at the World Cup that he was signed by the Uprising Academy before being quickly promoted to the Boston Uprising, and has been leading them ever since, with a strong grasp of every hero at this position. JKARU, meanwhile, has only more recently started to make his name in the competitive Overwatch scene. He started the year on all planned, finishing second in January's instalment of Jane's Tournament of Future Champions, and then third in the European Open division. Strong performances here on Winston and Rhine earned him a promotion to Shoes Money Crew, where he helped them get promoted through trials and reach the semis of the first 2019 season of European Contenders. Like many other Brits, he was then given the opportunity to join an American Contenders team in the Montreal Rebellion, who he currently plays for, helping them to a strong and impressive 3-1 start, in part thanks to a great tank partnership he's formed alongside fellow tryouts SMEX. At the trials, he played really well, with some great displays on Winston, including a fantastic highlight in Gibraltar, which showed off his quality at the position. Finally, there's NUMLOCKED, who's been on quite a journey through his Overwatch career. Through 2016 and 2017, he went from different teams, including Dignitas and NRG, before finding success on Envision Esports, winning at DreamHack Montreal and reaching the semis of North America's first season of Contenders. Due to his performance there on Winston and Rhine, he was recruited by the LA Valiant for the Overwatch League's inaugural season, but could never find a way into the starting side. This did not dent his determination, however, as he left the team for British Hurricane, where he's continued to improve and develop, finishing in second place for the first 2019 season of European Contenders, and only very recently was he picked up by Team Envy, putting in a really solid display in his first match for them. His UK tryouts have been a testament to his commitment and quality, with strong showing, especially on Reinhardt, which resulted in a massive highlight shatter from him on Lijiang Tower. The flex tank, meanwhile, comes down to Brute, Hunter and SMEX. Brute and Hunter, like some other previous players I've mentioned, might not have a ton of high-level competitive experience, but boy did they perform at the UK trials. On D.Va, the pair were fantastic, with consistently strong and standout displays. Brute had one of the best highlights at all the trials, with an insane flick pulse bomb eat against A10, whilst Hunter kept coming up with huge bombs in a number of teamfights, as well as some grab eats of his own. They both seemed to play really well around their main tanks, providing brilliant assistance, whilst also being able to peel effectively for their backlines, whilst picking up kills by catching individuals on their own. That's before I even mention their ability and flexibility on other heroes like Roadhog. Brute previously played for Fortis and Blood Trail, which saw him finish second at the Insomnia 64 Cup. His experience, as well as Hunter's, not extending really further than these sorts of events or tournaments. But I'm certain if these two continue to perform and play at the level they've shown throughout these UK trials, the pair should at very least be receiving some team opportunities or making ones at higher competitive levels moving forward. Making the final three at this position beside them is a 2017 and 2018 UK representative in SMEX. Thanks to strong showings back in 2017 on teams like Nerd Rage, SMEX earned his opportunity to make the 2017 World Cup, where the UK reached the quarters at BlizzCon before being eliminated by Sweden. From there, he went on to join NRG and find success in North America, winning Season 3 of their Overwatch Pit Championship and reaching the semis of North American Contenders Season 2. Consistently strong showings on D.Va over this period saw him return in 2018 for the UK's brilliant World Cup display, before returning back to NRG, who continued to have strong displays in the North American Contenders scene. However, for this recent season he's now moved on to Montreal Rebellion, where alongside JKARU, he's helped them to a great 3-1 start, bringing a high-level experience to this position, and also the flexibility to play Zarya and Roadhog if required as well. Main support is between FUNNYASTRO, HTPHAROLD and KRUISE. FUNNYASTRO developed and found success in weekly and monthly tournaments in 2017, before enjoying a very successful 2018 in a very familiar manner to Fusions and Kib. Alongside the pair, he won the second season of the European Pit Championship, before joining them on British Hurricane, and as I've already mentioned, won the first European Contenders crown in the process. At the end of 2018, however, he left the side and wasn't picked up into the Overwatch League, as he reached rank 1 on the ladder on multiple occasions whilst putting some time into his stream. He returned to full-on competitive action, being picked up by the Atlanta Academy, who he finished second with during the first season of 2019 North American Contenders, before then coming fourth at the Atlantic Showdown. And it was during this time where he received a two-way contract with the Atlanta Reign as well. Despite ping issues during the tryouts, his Lucio is expectantly strong, even allowing him to pick up some flashy signature environmental kills, including a couple into the well of Ilios. For HTPHAROLD, it's been a longer grind to get to the higher levels of competitive Overwatch play. Throughout 2018, he was mainly involved in weekly and monthly tournaments, as well as the Open division, and it wasn't until the beginning of 2019 where he got the opportunity on Chicken Contendies, helping them qualify for the first season of 2019 North American Contenders, where they had a respectable showing. He's now a member of Grunto Esports after their recent acquisition of Chicken Contendies, and he's helped them to a fantastic 4-0 start so far this season. He's put in a great showing so far in the UK trials, with a solid Lucio, but I particularly put praise on his Mercy play, which I thought saw him not die often and get off important reses whilst keeping up a great level of healing for the side. KRUISE rounds out the candidates for the main support position, and looking at his entire history in competitive play, it almost deserves an entire video to itself, but I'll try and keep it brief. He initially was a support main and was a member of a couple of teams when the game was in beta, and shortly after it launched, with Watchout Gaming and Arcade Esports, and he was a member of the UK's World Cup squad in 2016 as well. He started to establish himself more firmly as a member of Reunited and then E-United from the end of 2016 through to 2017, where his teams often came second, before he finally won the Overwatch Contenders Season 0 for Europe alongside BOOMBOX and Hayes. During this time he also transitioned towards more of a DPS role, with his signature Genji that helped him make the 2017 World Cup squad. After this, he competed in North American Contenders with Toronto Esports, now again as a support player, with his best finish being second to Fusion University. Strong displays on Lucio and Mercy earned him a spot on the UK side for a third consecutive year, and his shot calling alongside Fusions was seen as a key reason for the team's success. Following this, he was picked up at the Paris Eternal, where he plays today in the Overwatch League, highlighting the development, improvement and growth he's had to take as a player, which has brought him vast experience, leadership and shot calling as a result. And lastly, the flex support players are ABBS, BOOMBOX and SLUR. ABBS was another really strong performer in the UK trials, despite not having the comparative amount of competitive scene experience outside of the Open division and other small events. His Nano was very impressive through effective and patient use of Nano, was combining this with some nice sleeve dots and bionades, and his Zen was equally impactful, with some nice picks and some pop-off moments, and efficient use of Transcendence that made an all-round very good trial performance from him, with some great clutch displays. BOOMBOX announced himself onto the scene most prominently as a member of E-United alongside KRUISE, which as I previously mentioned, ended up winning Season 0 of Overwatch Contenders 2017. This saw him make the 2017 World Cup side, and thanks to a great performance from him there, he was picked up by the Philadelphia Fusion. Since entering the Overwatch League, he's become one of Philly's most important players, with a very strong Zenyatta, but at times clutched just as hard as his teammate Carpe. He reached the grand finals, putting in some nice showings on Roadhog along the way, but alongside the Fusion, fell short of the London Spitfire. 2019 has again shown his ability when he's playing at his best, and for the UK, he brings experience, quality, and a positive winning mentality that served the side so well last year. SLUR burst onto the scene majorly at the beginning of this year, going very far with all planned in Europe's Open Division and Jane's Tournament of Future Champions. From here, he joined Shu's Money Crew and alongside ZEAL and JKARU, helped them progress to European Contenders, where they reached the semis in the first season of 2019. Since then, he's joined Samson Morningstars, and whilst they haven't hit the ground running, SLUR's been able to put in some nice displays on Zenyatta, with a keen ability to frag and get kills, which has made him a threatening player at this position. So hopefully, having gone through the final 18 players who made it to the second phase of UK trials, you now have a better idea of who could be representing Team UK, as well as learning about their respective histories and strengths for the 2019 World Cup, as well as the UK sides moving forward into the future. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I'm planning more Overwatch World Cup videos as well, so if you don't want to miss out, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter for this continuing Overwatch World Cup coverage and content. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.